Alright, so my last video I just made was about how I just got my car tinted. One of the greatest things I did with my car, especially keeping it cool. And well, yeah, and here's the inside look on looking through my windshield. It's tinted at 70%. So as you can see, you can see very well through it. Unlike, let me pull it to the back. Oh, that didn't work out too well. But yeah, the back's much darker. Let's just go with that. So, yeah, what I'm trying to say is tint laws are pretty dumb. I currently live on a military post, and I don't know if military are just like or gate guards in particular, MPs are just the worst when it comes to enforcing dumb laws, because outside of where I live, it's a pretty small town. So the common thought is most small town cops, they don't have anything going on, so they'll ticket you for pretty much anything. And if they really wanted to, they could probably ticket me for my the tint on my windows. But you know what? Cop that's really doing his job probably isn't going to notice someone has their entire windshield tinted, or their front windows are 20%. No, not even 20. 16% too dark over the legal limit. The only way you're really going to tell is if you are standing outside of your vehicle, because most cops are always going on patrol inside of their vehicle. They're not usually outside of their vehicle unless they've pulled you over. So, besides, if you give the police a reason to pull you over in the first place, they're not going to notice something else on your vehicle to hit you with. So, if you're pretty much don't be speeding. Probably don't have any tail lights out or license plate lights out, because that's usually what cops in small towns would get you for. Speeding, it's going to be a big thing. I've got ticketed in a small town for speeding, although I was going pretty fast. I could say that right now, but I just paid the fine. Got off my record. That's literally the only ticket I ever got. I was driving at 1 a.m. Completely my fault. I shouldn't have even been driving at that moment. Yeah, so if you're not speeding, that's literally the only time I've been pulled over for, is for speeding. And I've been pulled over with someone else for their headlights not being on. But typically, police officers aren't pulling you over for just random, they felt like pulling you over. They have better things going on, even in small towns. And, like most humans, people would rather not, do their job or not. They rather not do their job. They want to do their job efficiently. They don't want to waste time on meaningless activities, and pulling someone over for meaningless infringements of their tint being slightly too dark is wasting your time. There's better things going on that you have to focus your attention on. And so, yeah, these gate guards, they're not doing anything. They're at the gate. They're observing who's coming in. It's site security. Any of these MPs that have driven around, they're not trying to say anything to anyone out here when they're on patrol. But you come through the gate and they're standing there looking directly at your vehicle while they are on foot. That's going to be a huge issue. And this is part of the issue with law enforcement in general that I have with people get so authoritarian, like they have the law, they are the law enforcement officers, and you need to bow to them pretty much because they need to enforce the law, no matter what the law says, how dumb it is. I was kind of just really trying to get an explanation from this officer, because I live on a very small military base too, and I ended up just asking, why is this going to be an issue if my windows are tinted? And all I had to say is, because it's the law. And if you can't tell me why it's going to be an issue specifically outside of it being the law, you're just telling me you're ticketing, you want to cite me in the area that I live in, because I live here, guy, and you want to cite me for something that you have no reason to cite me for, just other than the sole reason that it is someone made a law. It's not, you can't say it's a safety concern, or you can't see me, because you can see me. You know who I am. I'm authorized to be here, but outside of the fact that, oh, I have 3 windows that are slightly too dark, according to the law, you want to potentially cite me. And I just feel like this is coming to the same point as the police officers that were citing people, arresting people for infringing on the smallest aspects of some of these pandemic lockdowns, should you call them. And that's a huge issue. And not to mention the religious freedom that's been infringed on. I know we have such great freedom being in America, or being in the modern world. People are taking it for granted. But there's been a pastor jailed for holding church service in Canada. And it's the country just to the north, and people would think, oh, Canada's so amazing and everything. Why would someone be getting jailed for holding religious services? We've had churches fined in America for holding religious services during the virus lockdowns. But you're going to tell me someone needs to be in cuffs, in jail, in solitary confinement even, because that's what happened in Canada. This is the modern world. And most of these countries will tell you they believe in freedom of speech, they believe in religious liberties. Only America does have that right written into our Constitution. But I mean, let's not forget that the Constitution is Swiss cheese at this point. People are only enforcing what they want to. It's just really sad though. There's a ton of law enforcement officers that I would say are good. I mean, I could just look at the take for example the gate guards on post here. The gate guards at the installation where I actually work at. The large majority of law enforcement officers that I actually come in interaction with, they're pretty good. But I would say there is still a good percentage of them, probably I wouldn't say the majority, but a good percentage of them, that just enforce laws because it's on the books. They're getting a paycheck, this is their job, and they're going to enforce the law no matter what. And that is very problematic, for individuals, very problematic for society. It's not what we want. It's really hard to hold police accountable because you can't hold your politicians accountable in today's world. The politicians are creating all the laws. The police are enforcing them, no matter what they are. And society, it's like it's going downhill. There's not a lot of great things to say about that aspect when we have this going on in society. Now, I've been going on pretty long here, about 10 minutes now, but that's just all I want to say. Get that off my chest. It's just there's little things like this where you say, oh, you're gonna enforce laws just on the sole purpose because someone wrote it down and said this needs to be a law, and you can't cite me an actual reason why this is a problem or why you want to potentially cite me for it, other than the fact that it's a politician made it a law. So, you know, if you want to be someone's puppet, because that's essentially what you are. If you're a law enforcement officer and you're just enforcing any law because someone wrote it down, some corrupt politician wrote it down, and you're going to enforce that law no matter what, you are a puppet. And like I'm saying, I support law enforcement officers, especially all the great ones, but they are puppets.